Hello and happy Sunday, even though it's actually only Friday. But I was afraid that I would miss a lot of you this Sunday and you might not come to church. And I just wanted to make sure that I still got to teach you a Bible lesson. So I decided I was going to make this little video and come to your house and do church with you at your house. So happy Sunday. And I'm here with just my goldfish and my water, and that's that. So I'm going to pause for a minute. I'm going to ask you to pause and go get a snack with your family and bring it back, and then you can push play. Would you like to see my pause? Pretty good, huh? So whenever you see that, hit pause. Okay, so you should have your snack now, and we're back together. And during our snack time, we usually tell each other something exciting or really happy or really sad that happened this week. And so I'm going to start. I have something exciting. My mother came down to visit me this week from Illinois, and she's got to spend all week with me. And we even made it out to the honeybees, and she got to hold the hives and see all my bees. And it was really, really fun for me. So I was super excited about that. So now what I want you to do is pause and talk to each other at your family while you have your snack and tell each other something exciting that happened this week that maybe you just didn't get a chance to talk about yet. So here it comes. Hi guys. So you can see I've moved to the carpet area, which means it's our story time. And today our story takes place in a garden. And I thought it might be fun to build a wall around our garden, because sometimes gardens have walls around them to kind of make it private, and I thought that might be perfect for our story today. So I've got some blocks, I got some pool noodles, the boxes, the chair, some things that I found around the place, and I'm going to start building a wall around my garden. And I would like you at your house with your family to pick a room, maybe move some furniture, and then find some things around the house, chairs, maybe your couch, maybe some boxes, maybe some of your toys, to build a wall to create a garden space where your family can all sit together. So it's got to be big enough for all of your family to fit inside that wall of the garden. So now I'm going to get busy and you're going to pause and get busy. Welcome back. So I don't know if you can tell, but I've got my wall pretty much finished here, and my garden feels very private now for me to sit in. And I hope you finished your wall and you all fit and it's private. But you know what? I think my garden needs some plants. So I'm going to go find some plants, and they may be real plants or they might be fake plants. I'll have to see what I can find. And I want you to do the same and add some plants to your garden. Welcome back. I hope your garden is as festive as mine, and now you're ready to settle in and hear our Bible story for today. You can find it in your Bible in either Matthew chapter 26, you can find it in Mark chapter 14, I'm pretty sure, and in Luke, I'm pretty sure it's in chapter 22. So you can look in either one of those books and find this story about when Jesus was praying in the garden. And so here's the story. I'm going to show you the pictures while I read it. All right. Hopefully that's good and clear and you can see that. So they went to the olive grove called Gethsemane, and Jesus said, "Sit here while I go and pray." He was talking to his disciples. But then he took 3 of his disciples, Peter, James, and John, and said, "Come farther into the garden with me." And he became deeply troubled and distressed. He told them, "My soul is crushed with grief to the point of death. Please stay here and keep watch with me." He went on a little farther. I think you can see that. There you go. And fell to the ground. He prayed that if it were possible, the awful things awaiting him might pass him by. "Abba, Father," he cried out to God, If it is possible, please take this away. But I want to do your will, and I will do your will." When he went back to his disciples, he found them asleep. And he said, "Are you sleeping? Couldn't you even pray for me for 1 hour? Keep watch and pray so that you will not give in to temptation. For our spirits want to pray, but our body is weak." Jesus left them again, and he prayed more to God the Father. When he returned, he found them sleeping again. They were just unable to keep their eyes open, and they didn't know what to say. He went off and prayed again, and when he returned the third time, he said, "Go ahead and sleep, have your rest. But no, the time has come. It is time for the Son of Man to do this deed." Let's be going. In this story, Jesus is terribly upset. You see, he understands and knows everything that's about to happen to him in the next several days. He knows people are going to say horrible things to him, about him. They're going to hurt him, and they're going to be so mean. And he can see all of that before it ever happens. His disciples, they don't mean to fall asleep. They just don't understand how upset he is. I bet there's been times when you've been upset, and maybe not everybody understands why you're so upset. I'm going to ask you to pause this again, and I want you to talk to your family about a time that you were upset or sad or even mad or angry or disappointed, any of those feelings that make us feel crushed. So you can go ahead and pause. Boom. Talk about those sad things. Welcome back. So I hope you talked with your family about some things that are hard for you that you've had to do in the past. Maybe you had to give a speech at your school and you didn't want to get up in front of everybody and talk. Or maybe you had to play in a basketball game or a soccer game or some sort of game and you were worried you'd mess up. Or maybe you have a hard test at school and so you knew that you would have to be ready for it. So you practice for those things. You practice your soccer and your basketball. You practice your speech. You certainly wouldn't get up to give a speech without practicing it. And so in this story, Jesus wasn't practicing to prepare. He was doing something different to prepare for the hard thing that he was going to do. Instead of practicing, he went to God and he talked to him about it. He told him that he knew it was going to be hard and that he knew he was going to need God's help to get through it. So I want to ask you, when you have a challenge, do you follow Jesus and do as he did and go talk to him about it? Go talk to God about it and tell him, "I know it's going to be hard for me to talk in front of all of my classmates." Or, "I'm really disappointed in that this is happening." Can you talk to God about that? And in that way, you'll be following Jesus, which is what we want to do. We want to grow up and become more and more like him all the time. So when we see what he does in the Bible stories, if we try and copy those things, that's our way of following Jesus, becoming more and more like him. More and more like him. Yes. Let's take a pause in case you want to talk to your family about maybe something that has been upsetting, and maybe you haven't prayed to God and asked him for help, or just talked to him about it, and maybe you'd like to tell your parents or your family members what's going on in your world right now that has you upset. So here's a pause for that. Okay, I'm back. I probably should have said this before the pause, but the other thing that we see Jesus do in this story is that he didn't just go by himself because he knew he had something very hard coming up. Instead, he asked his friends to go with him. And he didn't just ask them to go and sit. He asked them to pray for him too, to be thinking about him because he was struggling. And so the way that you maybe just talk to your family about some things you're struggling with is following Jesus's lead. It's doing what he did. Don't be afraid that, don't be like, oh, this is upsetting or this is going to be hard for me, but I can't tell anybody that. I can talk to God about it, but I shouldn't tell anybody else about it. Because that's not how Jesus was. If something was hard for him, he asked his friends to help him. And so you can ask your friends to help you. You can ask them to pray for you. You can ask them to come and spend time with you. You can definitely ask your family to pray with you, to spend time with you, to listen to you as you talk about the thing that may be upsetting to you. So that's two ways in this story that we can learn to follow Jesus. One is by when something is hard or difficult or challenging for us, we can go talk to God about it. And we can ask our friends and our family to help us by them talking to God about us. So if I'm struggling with something, my mom and my sister and my daughters can also be talking to God about what's hard for me. Because then there's 4 people that are trying to help talking to God for me. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's awesome when you can have somebody praying for you and talking to God about you so that he gives you extra help. Yeah, cool. So our story time is over, and I hope you had some good talks with your family about things that might be upsetting or challenging or hard for you, and about how to remember to talk to God, talk to Jesus about those things, because they're just waiting to hear from you to give you all the help you need. And in Sunday school, most of the times after we're done talking with our Bible story, we come to the table and we do some sort of activity or something that helps us remember the Bible story. Today, Sunday, we will be making prayer pillows that start like this. Let's see if you can see that. Did I get it all in there? There it is. So they're just little white pillows that have the Lord's Prayer on it. And you can put this on your bed, and it will be a reminder of the story where Jesus prayed in the garden and talked to God when things were hard. And so what you would be doing if you were here Sunday is using fabric markers to decorate around the Lord's Prayer on your pillow to make it kind of a garden scene to help us remember that Jesus prayed in the garden, which was kind of cool. It's a peaceful place. It's a very peaceful place. Especially, it's nice to go to a peaceful place or see a peaceful scene when we're upset about something. So that's why we're making prayer pillows. And then these will go in the art show, which will be closer to Easter. So the Wednesday Grace Kids group already made prayer pillows because we talked about this story already. So I thought I'd show you a couple of samples. So these have been flipped and sewn. They just have one hole left right there for the kids to stuff them full of stuffing. This was made by Alyssa. Isn't it pretty? She's got lots of colors and lots of love in that garden prayer. And then here's another one. Thought I'd give you 2 samples. This one's by Titus, and what a lovely garden scene he made to go with his garden prayer. And again, it's flat because they aren't here to stuff it. If Titus and Alyssa were here on Sunday, they'll stuff it, and then they'll have a nice fat comfy pillow to put on their bed and remind them of this story where Jesus prayed in the garden. So that's our story. You can't make that craft here if you're not here, but what you can do is you can make it just a picture with your family. I was thinking if one of the people in your family could write the words of the Lord's Prayer on just a sheet of paper or a t-shirt, anything you have, really. You can do it on anything you want, but grab a piece of paper, write the Lord's Prayer, and then the rest of the family, you can all take a part in decorating that picture as a garden scene. And you can hang it on your fridge, or you could frame it and hang it on the wall, or do whatever you would like to do with it to remind you guys that when you have a struggle, when something is going to be hard, and you want help, it's there. But you got to remember to follow Jesus, do as he did, and talk to God about it. And then they will send help your way. So that's that. And I need my pause sign, which I left on the carpet. So pause and go make your beautiful Lord's Prayer picture with your family and then come back because we have one more thing and you don't want to miss it. So pause. Okay, so to finish up, I thought we should sing a worship song, but even with my extraordinary singing abilities, I decided I was not going to just sit here and sing a song for you because that could be used against me in the future, and I don't want that happening. So I was thinking instead of some songs that we've sung in the past, in VBSs and, during church and during Wednesday. And I was trying to think of a song that went with this message, the same message of like, something's really hard, what should I do? And it came to me this past summer at Vacation Bible School, we used Lauren Daigle's song, which is called Look Up Child. And we did a little dance to it, and it reminded us when all those dark, hard things are happening, that all we need to do is look up and talk to God. And as I listened to the song, it also kind of reminded me that sometimes things are hard, but we still love to do it. Like I loved playing basketball as a kid and being on the basketball team, but it was hard. Like I had to practice hard, but I loved to do it. And so sometimes even things we love to do might be hard, and we can ask God for help with those things, even though we love them. They're still hard, and we still need help with them. So this is such a great song, and it's called Look Up Child. And in the video, not in the video, in the email that I sent you to get into your house to have church with you, I put a link for a YouTube video that has the words to the song. And kids, you can sing along and you can teach your parents the moves that we did at Vacation Bible School. If you weren't at Vacation Bible School, guess what? You get to make up your own moves. And just have a wonderful time with it. It's a wonderful song, and I know you'll like it. And that's it. You're going to go sing a worship song, and I just want to say thank you for letting me come into your house through video and have Sunday school with you all together as a family. And I look forward to when you will be back here at the church with me, and I won't have to eat my goldfish crackers all by myself. All right? Love you all. Mwah. Have a wonderful Sunday.